gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, is a man who has the eyes of the hawk, the ears of the wolf, strength of the bear, and the speed of the puma, Mr. Drew Celestino.
All accurate, and I did also once write a song called Sight Beyond Sight, so, you know, there is that.
True. You're kind of confusing 80s cartoons properties. Sight Beyond Sight is Thundercats. I was referring to Brave Star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, see?
Yeah,
okay. Did you know that I have a Brave Star toy collection?
Really?
I do. It was my favorite toy as a kid.
Huh.
They were about yay tall.
Yeah, they
Real
were
nice figures.
they were fairly big.
Tex Hex was a much cooler figure than he was a villain in the show,
Which was usually the case with the toys.
Yeah, and the horse, what was his name?
30-30.
30-30, that's right.
Yep.
It's a weird name. Also a very cool toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have all those still with all the original weaponry and everything.
I watched the show. I never really got into the toys.
My Uncle Mark, who passed away about 10 years ago, I used to love it, and he used to watch it with me, and he knew that I was really into it, so he would always take me to go get a new one every few months or so. He'd you want to get a new Brave Star guy? I'm like, yeah. So he'd take me out, and I was 5, 6 maybe, but that was our thing. He dug it too for some reason. It was a pretty wild little show.
Hey,
Old West in space.
Yeah, it was. You know what? Funny thing. I was, and we'll go into opening statements after this. I was watching a cool thing I like to watch on YouTube is just mix videos of old 80s cartoon intros. The Old West in space theme, very common among a lot of 80s cartoons.
Well, didn't Silverhawks kind of do it too?
Not so much Silverhawks.
Well, the one guy had a cowboy hat and a bandana, right?
Yeah, although Silverhawks did have the most boss intro of any 80s cartoon ever.
The one dude played guitar.
Yeah. No, just a lot of there was Brave Star, and a lot of very obscure ones. But there was 5 or 6 of them that had that future but Old West theme going to them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that will lead us into our opening statement. Sir, I know it was eventful. How was your week?
Eventful. We'll start with the lesser eventful. Friday, we didn't do our traditional game night. You and Alan both kind of dipped out for the night, and that's okay because things were kind of dicey here, but we did end up having 2 friends over for fish fry. And we played a game of the Bob Ross game, which, by the way, is really good. The Bob Ross game is pretty great.
Seen it played, have not played it yet.
It's good. It's just simple enough to keep you going, but complex enough to get you invested to keep playing.
Which is why I think you'd really like that game I mentioned to you, Sagrana.
You guys keep telling me to play that's the stained glass game,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Think Bob Ross, but with dice.
I like dice.
I know you like
sucker
dice.
for dice. So that was kind of cool. Got fish fries from Chester's Cajun Grill. Now, they were good, but they were beer breaded, not beer battered.
No.
That was my reaction as well. But they were good in fairness. Would I do it again? No. Next time I want a traditional beer battered fish fry.
Yeah.
However, having said that, it was not bad. I was like, if this thing sucks, then I'm going to be really upset. Luckily, it was flaky, delicious, and the breading was crispy, and it was very good. So I did enjoy the fish, but next time, I got to get me a traditional buffalo fish fry.
Do you eat there or have it delivered?
Picked it up actually.
Okay.
Brought it home.
That's impressive that it's still crispy, because that's the one drawback of the traditional buffalo fish fry. If you don't eat it there, by the time you get it home, the breading's kind of soggy at that point.
They're right around the corner, man. So I told them I was coming, and I popped over, grabbed it, brought it home.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. Bob Ross game. Don't sleep on it. It's pretty good. So, Saturday. Oh, Saturday. Saturday was eventful. So, you know.
You do.
You know. Saturday was
there's a dude.
so
Sometimes there's a dude. That movie's 20 years old this week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still great, by the way.
Oh, well, yeah.
All right, so I had a show. Long Cold Dark had a show, and I had my voice lesson earlier in the day, and it went well. And I'm doing some stuff around the house because we weren't gonna practice because we were playing that night, and we're all pretty good. We're just we're gonna meet at the venue. We're all good. So I had a voice lesson earlier in the day. Felt good. I did some stuff around the house. We're still tearing up carpet up there, and there's a lot of wheels in motion in the house, which is going to be a theme coming up. But anyway, so I pack up to go to the show, and I get to I'm on the way to the venue. I am a half mile from the venue. I am stopped at a red light, jamming out to Into the Void by Nine Inch Nails. Just happens to be on. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then, kaboom.
The old Atari game?
No.
That game was fun. That game
Yeah.
was shit.
It's more fun than what happened. So this 75-year-old woman apparently did not realize that there was a red light and did not realize that I was stopped at said red light. And she plowed into the back of my car.
In her defense, they do often change the color red.
Okay. Well, yeah. So
First and most important question. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
And she's okay.
She was fine as well.
Okay.
Airbag deployed on her though, and like the front of her car. Oh,
That's going to be a total.
yeah.
It's two things that'll total your car quicker than anything else: frame bent or airbag deployment. Because typically the repair or replacement cost is more than the car's worth.
Yeah. So the rear of my car has seen better days. So it's in bad shape. My primary concern after getting hit was...
Is the guitar okay?
Well, no, all my stuff's in hard shell cases and everything. So I was like, everything's okay. Everything's, but I was like, oh no, am I going to be able to get the trunk open? Is that rear hatch going to open for me to be able to get this stuff out of the car to play the show? Fortunately, it did. Whew, crisis averted.
I wouldn't say averted.
Well,
crisis minimalized.
Minimalized, sure. I mean, I made it to the show, and everything was fine. We played really well. Actually, I got a live recording of it. We sounded great. I'm not one to toot my own horn very often in this regard. I'm very self-deprecating when it comes to this kind of thing. But I listened back to it. I'm like, man, we're good. We're good. We are good live. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway. So the show went well. I had a good time until... So because my night was, just going so swimmingly, I was triple parked in the lot, basically. Someone triple parked me in, is what I'm trying to say. So,
Okay.
Like a standard parking lot, it's like, there's two rows of cars.
Yeah.
So you park and there's a guy in front of you and
Yep.
that's it. Well, there was a guy in front of me and I pulled it, I parked.
Yeah.
Someone parked behind me. So now I am landlocked, right? So I asked the dude, hey man, do you mind backing your car out so I can get out? Yeah, no problem, dude. So he backs his car out and I'm free to go. And I start backing up and I cut my wheel to turn out of my spot to leave, right? What I don't realize is that next to him, triple parked, was another car. So I back into him.
The old car behind the car gambit. I see what you're saying.
So that happened. Now my car's already messed up.
Yeah.
So I don't care, but I feel like a jerk because his car clearly now is damaged. Fortunately, he was in one of the bands. It's a lease. I'm insured. He didn't care. He's like, dude, whatever. Like, you've been through a lot tonight, so this is fine. It's just cosmetic on the door. The door opens. It's fine. We'll take care of it and whatever, man. I don't, So I'm just grateful that he wasn't like fuming with rage.
Yeah.
So it's fine. We're cool. Everything's cool. I go home. I go to bed. I live to fight another day.
So we've got 2 car accidents one night but also a concert.
Yeah.
A concert where you performed well.
Yes.
I'd call the night a push.
I would.
I mean, I'd call it a push. I think,
would
you know,
not. I wouldn't.
I think you broke even.
Oh, I broke.
I think you broke even.
I broke all right.
See, if it was me you backed into, I was like, really? That's all you could do? You couldn't do more damage? You couldn't come on. Give it a
so
good.
Bad, man. I felt terrible.
Car.
I felt so terrible. I felt like such a jerk. It was so embarrassing. But again, no one was hurt, and it's just automobile stuff. I'm sure my insurance company will have a field day with me now, though, because of that, but whatever. The ladies' insurance, by the way, is taking care of everything on my car. So,
well, I would assume.
Yeah.
You were stopped at a red light.
Just what an evening. Yeah. Anyway, Sunday, I spent the day here in the house. I made sauce, had my dad over, my stepmom, my sister. Big sauce day. And me and my dad have been planning, we're planning this whole house flipping business. Not flipping the house to sell it. I mean, but we're moving stuff around. There's a lot of wheels in motion here, so.
Pretty hot in these renos.
Oh, yeah. Once I get back from Long Beach, it's pretty much going to be a full tilt sprint to get things going, son. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also dreading it because, you know, renos can be stressful. When you're demolishing your place of residence, it can just get, you know, it can get tense.
It's against our natural instincts to break something that isn't broken.
Yeah. Well, for some people love to break things that aren't broken. But anyway, so really that was Sunday in a nutshell. I watched Fastlane with Alan and Steve. WWE Fastlane, a perfectly cromulent show. Better than the card would imply. Actually, the matches were pretty good, even though it was very predictable. But you know, it was a very fair show for WWE standards. There was a fair share of crap too, but you know, considering it's the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania, it was perfectly fine. Shinsuke had a great match with Rusev. They put on a nice little match. Not NJPW caliber, but it was a good match. I was like, wow, okay, Rusev and Shinsuke throwing down for a good time here. Not bad. And I'm happy with that.
Shinsuke win?
Yeah.
Yay, Shinsuke.
So hopefully he wins at Mania. I'm not gonna bet on it though. But maybe he wins the title at Mania. I'd certainly hope so. But
well, who's he going against at Mania?
AJ Styles.
Okay, well he's not our NJPW guy.
He is.
If he retains, it's still
in
the hands of. I get what you're saying though. I want
to see my boy go over, man, on the biggest stage of them all. So anyway, and then yesterday the Bro Day crew completely dissipated to go to see Our Lady Peace. So me, Alan, and Jimmy came over here and we watched NXT, watched Raw, and played some Luchador.
The game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jimmy had never played before.
What do you think of it?
He's a fan.
It's a great game.
It's
fantastic.
Game. So yeah, we got some Luchador in. Raw was Raw, you know, whatever. But next week on Raw, the ultimate deletion is next weekend on Raw. So Matt Hardy's full cast of characters are coming back. I'm more excited for this than I am almost anything right now. Almost as much as NJPW in Long Beach, but not quite. But it's close.
Alrighty.
That's saying something.
Yeah, especially when it's like WWE.
Well, it is, but it's not, because Matt's done all this stuff before last year, before he came back to WWE, and we were all waiting. Like, when is he going to do it? When's he going to do it? When's he going to do it? Finally, they're pulling the trigger on it, and it's like, yep, here it is. They're going to the Hardy compound, and Rebby's there, and his kids, and his father-in-law, Senor Benjamin, and Vanguard 1, the sentient drone, Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, the Lake of Reincarnation. It's all coming out. It's all going to be on the show. I'm so excited. So it's so stupid, but it's great. It's brilliantly stupid. That's it. That's the week. It's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Oh, my Super NT came today.
Yes,
my analog Super NT, my HD ready plug and play, accepts original cartridges, Super Nintendo.
We were playing around with it a bit before the show started. It's a sweet little piece of tech.
Oh, I'm so excited. I got to get more carts, man. I'm so amped for this thing. It looks great.
Yeah, it does.
I'm
really. Even though we differ on like what our preferred settings are. It's still
I'm a scanline
looks
guy, and
fantastic.
you're not. But that's fine, man. I think that it looks great. The
Yeah,
color,
it looks
colors
fantastic.
are popping.
Yeah,
I can't. It's great. And I got to tell you that 8BitDo SNES controller I have,
yeah.
it definitely syncs better to the original SNES dongle, the one that fits in the SNES slot, than it does to the retro receiver that works on the SNES Classic and the NES Classic.
Okay.
It's kind of a pain to sync it to that, actually. Like when you turn the system on, it takes a minute. That thing fired right up, and that controller was synced like immediately.
Nice.
So everything's coming up Thrill House right now.
Thrill ho.
Thrill ho. Buy me Bone Storm or go to hell. Yeah, that's what's up. How was your week?
My week was relatively uneventful. Julie had a lot of stuff going on this week, so there were many nights where I was staying at home with the boy, which is fine.
Yeah.
He will be turning 2 on Saturday.
The terrible 2s.
So I've heard.
Because it's been so peachy up till now.
Yeah, well, no, he's like, not for nothing. I mean, you hear all the horror stories before your kid is born, how you're never going to sleep, and all this, and that. You know what? A lot of times Diego's a bigger pain in the butt than my son is.
I can see that.
But, so yeah. So that's happening Saturday. Most nights I was in home watching William. Friday night I went out with a couple of friends who I had not seen in a long time, and they wanted to go out for wings. We ended up going to Anchor Bar on Transit. Now I'm born and raised, lived all my life Buffalonian. This is my first time ever being to an Anchor Bar.
Yeah,
I say a Anchor Bar.
It's not the original, but yeah. So what's your verdict?
They're fine.
That's all they are.
They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
I prefer them slightly to Duff's, but only because I've never been a big Duff's fan.
I'm a Duff's guy. Yeah, between the two.
But I'm not going to kick either one out of bed for eating crackers. It's like they're fine.
They're fine, but we have our places.
You got your places. They're Anchor Bars for tourists.
Exactly that.
I would even say like only the original Anchor Bars for tourists. Like if someone wants to go to the original chicken place, when you take them to the original Anchor Bar, not
But in fairness, if I do kind of like the fact that there's like one in the airport. It's just kind of cute.
Yeah,
even though I'm not a fan of them, it's like, well, it's a very Buffalo thing, and there it is. So
it's a Buffalo thing. It's an undeniable Buffalo thing, and it's fun to have the debate between them and Duff's.
Sure.
And frankly, I think there are places with wings better than both of them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it was fun. We had a good time.
Good.
Well, Saturday. What did we do Saturday?
Know what I did Saturday?
Yeah. You were playing bumper car Saturday.
Yeah.
Could you say you were playing Twisted Metal Saturday?
Kind of like that.
Yeah, that was like we started, did not get a chance to finish because we're old, and bedtime comes on earlier than you want to, especially when it's freaking daylight savings. We started watching Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Got about halfway through it.
Okay.
Still so good.
It's great.
It's
pretty great.
It's the best of the Marvel films. It's not my personal favorite, but it's the best. It's just, you can't.
It's great. It's really great.
Just like it was the film in which the entire Marvel universe took a hard pivot, a hard change. And just like it was beneficial even to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. television show.
Oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. spun right out of that.
Yeah.
Like the week after the movie came out.
No, S.H.I.E.L.D., because that happened in season 2.
Season 2.
So season 1 was kind of very paint by numbers and whatnot,
right.
A little stuff here, a little stuff there. But when that happened and S.H.I.E.L.D. essentially dissolves,
it flipped the whole show on its head.
Yeah.
The next episode.
And from there on out, it's been a pretty decent show.
Back when they cared about, being in sync with each other.
Well,
what a
with
quaint
the
notion.
exception of this season, because you're throwing time travel into it,
Oh my god.
all the seasons previously, every time a film came out, there was some connective thread from the film. Like they had a whole season dealing with the Darkhold the year Doctor Strange came out. So that was pretty incredible. So yeah, got to finish that up. I'm not sure if we're gonna make it to finishing all the Marvel films before Infinity War.
Yeah,
but we're gonna give it a try. Yeah, they're making it have us do it quicker. I think we're like 3 films behind at this point.
Oh man, you got to pick a weekend and just binge.
Yeah,
that's not as enjoyable, I don't think.
No, it's still enjoyable. It's just finding time and whatnot to do that. I think that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Well, all right.
So, that being said, dear listeners, if you would like to tell us about your weeks, if you'd like to send us any questions or comments to be read on the show, you can find us at the following locations. You can go to Twitter and find us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all this information available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. And Drew, that being said, we do have some questions.
Okay.
First up, we have an email from Adam, who's written the show before. Actually, it's something from my week I did forget. I got together with Adam, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday night for some board games. And Adam Adam's one of the two who really got me into board gaming, Adam and Alan. Adam is a big fan of Euro games.
Okay.
I typically am more a fan of Euro mechanics in American games because the Euro aesthetic is not always enticing. So and he's always trying to get me to play Euro games I usually don't want to play. And he made a comment. I'm like, okay, bring a Euro game. I'll play it, and we'll play something else after that. He brought over Castles of Burgundy, and it was a delightful little game. I had a lot of fun playing it. You would like it. It's dice rolling, and then you spend your dice to allocate resources and build up your land and whatnot, things like that. It's a pretty cool little game. We were going to play another game, but then Diego started to bark at a dog that was outside and woke up William.
And
then William didn't want to go back to sleep. So trying to play another board game while your wife is going back and forth from the bedroom to put your son to sleep, not good for your survival or testicular fortitude.
Well,
so yeah, thanks, Diego.
Yeah, well, he's looking out for you. Or not.
There are days when I like the way that bay window is set up in the front of my house.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts.
Then there are days I just want to take some nails and boards and board up that bottom row of windows because the dogs just see everything. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Okay, so questions from Adam. Carl and Drew, what is your favorite cereal?
Raisin Bran Crunch.
Wow.
That is my favorite cereal. I love it. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Cinnamony. It's got raisins. It's good. Back in the day as a child, Lucky Charms. But, nowadays as an adult, I got to go with Raisin Bran Crunch. It's just sweet enough.
Yeah.
But still adult.
I'll probably go with Frosted Flakes. I don't do a lot of cereal lately. Yeah, just like your standard Frosted Flakes is pretty good. All time, it's a close call because C-3PO's is up there.
Whoa.
And that Ninja Turtle cereal was pretty boss too.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, it was the Ninja Turtle cereal went through numerous incarnations.
Okay.
At one point it was Ninja Turtle cereal, next point it was Spider-Man cereal, and then it became like XYZ.
So it's just a generic
Saturday morning cartoons.
Okay, and they just make the different shapes. And, Okay, that's fair.
Yep.
I like Crunch Berries a lot when I was a kid. Peanut Butter Crunch is a good one.
I was never big into peanut butter crunch.
I like peanut butter crunch.
I was never big into peanut butter flavored cereals.
I'm a peanut butter nut.
Fruity Pebbles. That's a good time.
I like the Cocoa Pebbles better. But again, this is all back in the day. If I had any
Yeah.
of these now, I'd probably be like, nope.
Yep.
Nope.
They're
Can't do it.
old and
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Now I'm eating FiberCon and stuff now.
hork and fiber.
Grape nuts. I used to like grape nuts as a kid. Isn't
Yeah.
that weird?
Life cereal kicks.
Like, those are good. Those
Those
are
are-
good.
those are always good.
subtle,
Yeah.
subtle but delicious.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honey Nut Cheerios.
yeah. Oh yeah. Regular Cheerios even.
I had to throw a little sugar on there.
Well-
it was just a little too bland.
Okay, that's fair.
Felt like Homer Simpson eating a wheat cake. Taste. Hello, taste.
All right, underrated cereals.
Ooh. I can instantly think of overrated cereals, but I'm trying to think of underrated.
Okay, wait, what's
cereals.
an overrated cereal?
The whole like Monster line of cereals, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, things like
Oh,
that.
yeah, they're bad.
They're terrible.
Great
terrible.
mascots, terrible cereals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underrated cereal. Sugar Smacks.
I mean, Honey Smacks.
No, Sugar Smacks.
Oh.
Dig them.
Those were, well, they later turned into Honey Smacks.
No, I still see them in the aisle.
They don't market anything with sugar anymore, dude.
Oh, okay, but it's still got the frog. It's still got Dig 'em
yeah,
on
I
them.
remember Dig 'em.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never liked those. How'd you feel about Honeycomb?
I was okay with honeycomb.
I liked Honeycomb. You know, here's,
I preferred a cereal where I could get more in the bowl because I was fat,
yeah, sure,
and
sure.
you don't get that way through osmosis.
See, I liked Honeycomb because you could eat it on its own, and it was still baller.
Yeah, it's true.
Without milk, it was still
Any
great.
cereal you could eat and enjoy equally without milk was A+.
You know what else is underrated? Apple Jacks, underrated.
Yeah.
Good for a change.
Yep.
Not. You know, they're not gonna make
It's-
the roster,
It's
but
not
they're solid.
Yeah, it's not the box you'd have your parents get every week.
No, but if I'm not throwing it away either.
Yeah.
You might laugh, but I remember back in the day when there were 3 chefs and not just one. Cinnamon Toast Crunch,
Yep.
underrated.
Well, the one chef was murdered by Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
What about the other one? There was 3. That was 1. That means 2 are dead.
You said there were 3 chefs. Now there's just 2.
That was 1. They're down
Oh,
to
there
1.
was 1. Oh,
Yeah.
down to 1. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the other 2. They phased them out.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
They're coming for the chefs.
I wonder if they're any relation to the Keebler elves.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. So wait.
Maybe he's just
hang on.
their hired
Are you
assassins.
implying that there is some kind of serial mascot cinematic universe in the works?
If there isn't, there needs to be.
I'm not gonna lie.
Trademark the Devil Do.
Someone
do.
out there, if they haven't thought of this,
Make this happen.
General Mills, get on the phone. They're trying to make everything a cinematic universe now. I need the Trix Rabbit versus Lucky.
There was a radio show recording a sketch comedy radio show that I listened to back in college. It was called That Damn Show.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a skit on like Frosted Flakes commercials. It was great because like somebody would come up and start picking on the kid, and he's like, "What are you gonna do now?" It's like, "You're picking on a guy whose best friend is a tiger. Screw the breakfast, get him, Tony."
Now I'm just imagining like a breakfast cereal Avengers, and Tony the Tiger's like my Captain America.
He might be.
He's kind of the leader.
Or, how's Captain Crunch? Now you're Captain America.
Nah, he's just not. He's kind
of like the Nick Fury of it all.
Yes.
Because his ship's
Oh my
like
god,
the,
dude! This
the
is right.
helicarrier.
This is right in itself right now. I'm not even joking. My mind's kind of a fire.
They've already got the Ultron. Do you remember that like robot dude that was Captain Crunch's enemy for a while, who wanted to make the
Kinda.
cereal soggy?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, there you go. You got your Ultron.
Toucan Sam's like your Falcon.
Malinos! Voiced by Maurice LaMarche in recent years.
Who is that?
He is the dude. If I gotta tell you, Maurice LaMarche is.
I guess you do.
Well, you'll know. It's the second time. Well, first off, he's the voice of the Brain,
Oh, okay.
but of many, he's cartoon voice royalty.
I can't. I'm having a hard time hearing the Brain as Toucan Sam.
Dude, him and Robert Paulson, who was the
the
voice
guy who
of,
died in Fight Club.
No,
Oh,
the first Robert Paulson.
oh.
He's the voice of Pinky. He was the voice of Raphael in the original Ninja
I
Turtles
know that
cartoon.
guy's voice.
He's the voice of Yakko Warner.
Yakko.
He was the tall one. Wacko was the one with the
That's
hat.
an Animaniacs thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just remember Pinky in the Brain.
Do you
Okay.
remember the country song in Animaniacs?
No.
Dude.
I remember the theme song vaguely.
Oh, man. I'm going to show you, after we get done here, I'm going to show you the country song, and then I'm going to tell you something blow your mind about it. Anyway,
All right.
back to Adam's question. Way to derail us, Adam.
That was a fun little tangent there.
If you could live in a city that is not Buffalo, what would it be?
Difficult. Well,
I've always been intrigued by Colorado.
I've never been. In my 20s, in hindsight, in another life, I would have loved to have lived with my best friend in New York City, in a different version, in a different universe of me.
Yeah,
that would have been fun. Nowadays, I'd say out west, San Diego, San Francisco. It'd be very expensive. I wouldn't be able to live there because I'd be very poor.
Be very hot.
In San Diego, it's about 78 to 85 degrees every day. Every day.
See,
and that's totally fine.
Whenever I consider living in a place, I always take into account, like, how many things, natural or otherwise, in this place can kill me. So that's why I'll never move to Florida. There's just too much crap down there that can kill you.
Alligators, Florida,
snakes,
a Florida man,
bugs as big as Lucas,
Floridians,
hurricanes, swamps,
Florida people,
Disney.
Disney's no, they'll kill you with riches and
that's how I suck you in.
Sure, okay, yeah, out west, San Diego or San Francisco, I think would be my jam.
Colorado.
All right.
What are your opinions on the recent offseason moves by the Buffalo Bills? Listen, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan when the season is being played. When football's done and like not being played every Sunday, I don't pay a lot of attention. I care that much.
I'm not going to say that I don't care.
They got rid of Tyrod, fine. Okay.
All I can say is
I feel bad we sent him to Cleveland because, Cleveland.
Don't worry about it. Don't weep for him. He'll make his money. I'm impressed, actually. As a Bills fan, I'm used to timid and inept management. So now that we have competent and active management, I'm kind of taken aback. This is all new and strange to me. So it's exciting. Let's see what they do. The thing is, as cool as it all is, to see them moving up the draft, and it's like, oh man, they're executing a plan and they're doing it. Like they're actually going to do it. That's exciting. But you got to get the guy. If you swing and miss on the guy, all this is for naught. So you got to get the guy. They better know who that quarterback is, and he better be the right one. And he better be the stud for the next decade in this, on this team. You got to do it. That's it.
Dude, we got Peterman right now. We're good.
Yeah. We're just going to let that.
He threw an interception as I was saying that.
Anyway.
All right. So, Adam, thank you very much for your questions. Man. Now, if it wouldn't flag the podcast for playing licensed music that we don't have the rights to, I would be queuing up Return of the Mac because we have some questions from Mr. Alan Waiters.
He's back.
He's back in question form.
All right.
Carl and Drew, with the Alexa laughing thing, you're going to have to explain to me what that is. I have no idea.
Okay.
Do you now believe Amazon is Skynet? Is Jay Gelsomino the Kyle Reese of our time?
Oh, my God.
When will the machines finally take over humanity? So what's the...
those stupid Alexa, Google...
Yeah.
Or whatever. Those the Amazon Echo
the electronic
things.
home assistants.
Yeah, the spying devices that people willingly put in their homes. Because that's a thing that people do. Anyway... So apparently there was some kind of a glitch in the network, and they all started laughing maniacally for no reason. Because that's not creepy at all.
That's great.
Are they Skynet? No.
Yeah.
No. As weird as it is, and as stupid as I think all that stuff is, and as immense as the network of data and amount of information that they control is, the AI thing is still a ways away. Now, how far away? Well, it's getting closer, but I don't think we've reached a point where the machines are sentient or anything like that. It's still just a programmed machine doing what it's told to do.
Yeah.
Once it starts doing things on its own that it wasn't told to do, then maybe worry. But in the meantime, it's just databases upon databases of Amazon receipts, essentially.
Yeah, Alan's got to think about Skynet. Like, I think Alan believes in Skynet kind of the way, like, some guys believe in Bigfoot. Like
the lizard people?
Like, even though we've proven it's not real and whatnot, and the guy who was in the costume came out and said, it's just me in the costume. There's still people out there. And Alan's kind of in that group, but his is a fictitious supercomputer from an Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
Well, again, it's closer than it's not. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. But it's
just don't
happen.
Invent AI. Don't invent real AI
that someone's going to do it. That's the problem. You know that. Someone's going to do it. You can't just say don't do it. Someone's going to do it.
Just don't know. It never ends well.
I know. I've seen enough movies. But
because the default desire of a sentient being's thinking is freedom.
Yeah,
A wise man once said, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. That wise man was Optimus Prime.
It was. Anyway, don't worry. Don't worry. And is J. Gelsomino the Kyle Reese of our time? I don't see it, but...
I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
All right.
Yeah. I can think of worse Kyle Reeses than J. Gelsomino.
This is true. All right, that's fair. Does that mean Jay is going to steal a bum's pants?
If he can't, how do we know he hasn't already? We don't know what goes down at those soccer games.
This is true.
If Jay came up to me and said, come with me if you want to live, I'd be like, worse things could happen.
I'd go with him. Yeah. Not going to lie. All right, fair enough.
When will the machines finally take over humanity? One can argue they already have.
Yeah, and you know what? We let it happen as we stare at our phone.
Yeah,
aimlessly, as we talk to a little hockey puck in our house connected to the internet to play the radio and tell us what the weather is and ask it to do things. You're letting a private company listen to you all the time in your home. Why would you do that?
I mean, I think the best cautionary tale is the brave little toaster.
The brave little toaster? That's a deep pull.
Yeah.
I remember it vaguely. Why was he brave again?
Because they went, him and the radio and the lamp and the blanket and the vacuum cleaner all went to find their old master.
It's like Toy Story, but with appliances.
It was like, it was Toy Story. But it was Toy Story with appliances.
That's amazing. It was before Toy Story.
Way before Toy Story.
Wow. Yeah. Copyright. Brave Little Toaster.
So, okay, Carl. Other than Spider-Man, what hero do you most relate to and why? And what superhero would best describe me? I'm not sure how much I relate to Spider-Man.
You just like reading about him.
Yeah, he's just my favorite character.
So who do you relate to?
I mean, I can say Batman only because I understand loss of parent. I mean, fortunately not loss of parents. I can say, Iron Man, because I know it's like to wake up in a Middle Eastern country with a hole in my chest. It's a story for another time.
Wow.
Tequila was involved.
Always is.
I don't think there's really one that I can relate to. One that I can look at and go, yeah, that guy knows my story. That guy's lived my story. If I had to make a decision, it would probably be Matt Murdock.
Okay.
Because, there are a lot of decisions in my life that even though I've come out on the upside of them, I would say are bad decisions.
Sure.
So maybe we can, and I'm just throwing it out there, honey. I know you're listening. You and William are not one of those bad decisions. I may be one of your bad decisions, and you were warned by everyone, including my father, but you made your bed, now you gotta sleep in it.
Good save.
Yeah. What hero would best describe Alan? I mean, there's so many directions you can go with this.
He's got a little Spider-Man in him, and that he's an educator.
Spider-Man's not a teacher anymore.
Look,
he was a teacher for like 5 minutes.
it counts. It's like the marriage. It still counts, okay?
Maybe the Question. He's constantly suspicious of Skynet and whatnot. Might be. I think Alan's got a little. He's got a little T'Challa in him. He's got the nobility of T'Challa.
Okay, yeah, I buy it. I buy it. Sure.
So yeah, Puck. Okay.
Puck. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Drew.
Yeah.
Do you think Nintendo is porting a lot of games because third-party developers see the success of the Switch, and because it's cheaper than making a brand new game? And Drew, why do you dislike Super Smash Brothers?
Okay.
Keep in mind we are going to be discussing Nintendo in the news.
Okay. Third parties are getting on board because maybe we can just get. We'll wait till then. Maybe. How about that?
Okay.
Well, I'll answer both of those questions later in the show.
All right. Cool. Alan, thank you very much. Now on to Mr. JJ Semino. Carl and Drew, now that there's proof that Super Smash Brothers is coming to Switch.
My God. You smash people.
Given
you smash people.
Given what we talk about on the show with frequency, I can understand how people would assume that we both like Smash.
Yeah.
Which, ironically enough, exact opposite is true. Given Super Smash Brothers is coming to Switch, if you can get the choice of one hero and one villain from each of the X-Men, Avengers, Simpsons, Ninja Turtles arcade characters to put in Smash Brothers, which would you choose?
Say that again.
So X-Men, we're talking about like the arcade beat 'em ups.
Okay.
So basically all one game with different skins. X-Men,
yeah, go on.
Avengers, Simpsons, Ninja Turtles. You get a hero and a villain from each.
Well,
I'm taking Colossus from X-Men.
Sure.
Because you know why, Drew.
I know why. I'm not a seal. I don't do tricks for you.
Come on.
No.
Come on, you haven't done it forever.
You have to go back to the episode that we talked about video games on this show, and you can hear me do it all the time.
Come on, do it.
It's okay.
Do it. Do it.
I'm not doing it.
Do it.
I'm not
do it.
doing it.
Do it. Let the English see you do it.
I'm gonna go.
Do it sexy.
With
do it.
The Simpsons game, actually. I'll go with Homer.
Well, no, we gotta take a hero and villain from each.
Oh, I was gonna say I'll take Homer. The Simpsons, to me, they mechanically and graphically fit more in the Smash universe than the other stuff.
Yeah, true.
So can't deny. The Colossus it's an attractive choice, but what about a villain? What about the villain?
I'm gonna go with Whirlwind from Avengers. See, you'll do that, but you won't do Colossus.
Colossus is a much louder. You're
not a good person.
I know. I know that. I'm painfully aware. But what about Magneto, though? He has,
Welcome
to die, X-Chicken. What? I am Magneto, master of magnet. What?
Magneto, master of vodka, maybe.
Delicious English.
I'm going with Whirlwind. There were a lot of like.
What about Wendigo?
When you think back to the Avengers beat 'em up game, they're scraping the barrel on some of those end stage villains.
Yeah.
Claw was one of them.
He was.
Yeah.
OG Pink Claw.
Yep.
Wow. All right.
Take Bebop and Rocksteady from Ninja Turtles. 'Cause fighting them both at the same time was a pain in the butt if you were playing by yourself.
I'll never forget, like, playing that arcade game, man, and the first time they talked, child me was just floored by it. That game was so revolutionary.
It still holds up to this day. It wasn't revolutionary in that, I mean, it was a formula we'd seen before. It was a beat 'em up. But it was the formula perfected.
It was the cartoon in a game.
Yeah.
Like, with the voices of Bebop and Rocksteady were like the same. The Shredder, it was like, wow. It was
James Avery.
Uncle Phil. Rest in peace. Oh. Anyway.
Okay. Drew.
Yeah?
Given the recent daylight savings time change, how many days to Long Beach?
I got to do some math now because of the daylight savings. Carry the 1. Account for leap year. And about 12 days, Jay.
Okay. Carl, if you could choose one choice on how to be presented on your death, what would it be? Closed casket with your image as a hologram on top, wrapped in foil, placed in a plastic bag with commemorative armband.
Yes.
A 1-900 number on a closed casket people can call to hear your recorded voice, or cremated, and people can send in a clipping from the funeral card and a self-addressed stamped envelope for a piece of Carl that takes 6 to 8 weeks to arrive.
Jay thought about this one. He's bringing the thunder this week.
This is probably spilling out from what I posted on our Twitter page. The Gambit hologram card. Is there anything more 90s?
This is all good stuff.
Yeah, all this was very prevalent in the 90s. No, I thought about this before seeing this question, and I told Julie what, God forbid, should something happen to me in the foreseeable future. I told Julie like how I want myself presented. She has said numerous times that she will not do this. So it has become your responsibility to make sure this gets done. You've got to like sneak in to the funeral home and speak with the mortician and get him to do this.
Okay.
I want a big smile on my face and my skin paled out like the Joker killed me.
All right. You heard it, folks. You heard it here first. That's all right. I'll do what I can.
How awesome would that be?
Will I have to have your casket say "Love that Joker" on it?
No.
Oh,
no.
Just the grin.
Just the grin.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough.
There.
You've been using brand X.
Got to drag that S out a little bit more.
I know.
All right. So, Jay, Adam, and Alan, thank you very much for your questions. We definitely do appreciate them.
Serial Cinematic Universe. I love it.
And now we get to the case files, and the case files are plentiful this week. So why don't we start out with what we had some questions on, the Nintendo Direct that came out earlier this week. Nothing like super earth-shattering in it, I thought. Just a lot of really good quality stuff we've been looking forward to.
Yeah. They didn't give you the fillet, but we got quite the buffet going right now.
We got some bacon wrapped lobster pieces on toothpicks.
We're not starving. They're serving they're serving the hors d'oeuvres
with a twice baked potato
consistently. Lots of stuff coming out, which is great. I'm most excited for, ironically enough, Captain Toad. I love that game. The first one was great on the Wii U, so a new one is A-OK by me. What else? There's some indie games coming out too that look pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of indie stuff. My only thing about Captain Toad is like, I played it very briefly on your Wii when you first got it. And it's a really cool game, a lot of fun. I just don't see it as like a full $60 game.
We'll see if it is. I don't think Captain Toad was a $60 game on Wii U. I could be wrong.
If it's something like $40,
it might be like a $40 game.
Yeah.
But still, it's a fun little formula.
Yeah, it's great. It's a very fun puzzle game.
Nintendo is the master of like somehow spinning franchises out into weird, unexpected things you never knew you needed.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nintendo also answered the question about Toad's hat/head. It's his head. Not a hat. It's his head.
I'm checking my notes. Yeah, I didn't care.
Okay.
It didn't matter to me either way.
All right, good call. Thank you. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. And then right when you thought like, okay, well, it's a perfectly cromulent Nintendo Direct. Oh, new No More Heroes game. I'm all about. I love the first two No More Heroes games. They are insane in the way that Suda 51 is insane. So a new one is A-okay by me.
Yep.
And then we thought it was all over. No.
Well, no, they gave us a good look at Mario Aces. Which
you're more all about that than I am.
It looks fun.
Yeah,
the Mario sports games were always great.
You're into that.
Still needs to be a Mario hockey game.
I'd get on board with that, but hockey's too niche for Nintendo to care. We got another look at Octopath Traveler. I think that's going to be a sleeper hit.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
I think it's going to be
It's going to be so
I'm telling you, it's getting buzz. I love that demo, man. It is the old school RPG that we deserve.
Yep.
So bring it on, man. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. Plenty of indie content. I love indie games. So all good things. Then we get the big reveal.
Big reveal at the end. Now I thought
teaser reveal.
It was rumored that Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And still, this rumor is kind of still out there that there will be a version released for the Switch.
Okay.
Now, this is the good Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
Not the new one.
Not the new one, which is dead and buried.
Not the compromised second draft.
Yeah, pretty much. There were videos shown of screenshots of that game running on a Switch and whatnot. So I thought that was kind of going to be the big reveal at the end.
Not big enough for a Nintendo Direct.
But it wasn't.
No. Right genre.
I disagree with that statement, but we'll get into that.
Okay, fair enough.
Super Smash Brothers is coming to Switch, and all Nintendo fanboys everywhere just had something biological happen.
Yeah, boys became men all over again.
Yep.
Hey, look, I'm happy for y'all. If you like it, it's cool. I like the spirit of it. I like.
Yeah.
I like the cross-pollination of franchises and
the fan service.
And it's a big celebration of all things Nintendo, and even outside entities coming into the Nintendo camp for a day and having a good time.
Yep.
I like all that. I just don't like the game.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy Smash at all. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, you're apologizing to the wrong person for that one, because I don't like Smash either.
It's
because you know what? Hot take alert, folks. I don't consider it a fighting game.
It's a fighting game.
It's not a fighting game.
Weird.
And again, I'm going to be on a lone island on this. It's not a fighting game. It's a multi-platform party brawler. It's not a fighting game.
I mean, a brawl is a fight.
It's not a fighting game.
Okay, there's stages.
And when I had my Wii U, I borrowed one of the games from you, and I played. I was just like, eh.
That's how I feel about Smash as well. It's just not for me. It's inventive. It's neat.
It's its own genre. I see the appeal and whatnot. It's spawned numerous copycats and whatnot. I think there's a River City Ransom one for the PlayStation Network.
Remember when PlayStation tried to do one of their own? Stop that. Yeah. Sony, you silly goose.
The Sony characters don't really lend themselves to that very well. It just I get what they're trying to do, but it just looked weird.
Yeah. I'm happy. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm actually shocked about. Not shocked, but I guess I'm shocked. Given the turnaround time, not the turnaround time, but I don't know, seeing as I could still remember the release of the one for 3DS and the Wii U not that long ago, and given that the 3DS and the Wii U, well, not the 3DS, but the Wii U specifically, was not that big of a success, I thought this would be like a deluxe, all-inclusive port of that version.
Been verified yet.
I've heard it is all new.
I've heard rumors of both. I've heard rumors that it's Smash Brothers Wii U Deluxe, kind of like Mario Kart Deluxe, with some, they're throwing the
more stuff
the
in.
Kids from Splatoon in there.
Yep.
And some updated skins for Mario and Link, because
I saw Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Then I've also heard that it's a completely new game, so neither one would shock me either way.
Well, giddy up.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to keep people interested. That's going to sustain people on the Switch train for a while. Just the hype of that alone.
Yep.
Me, still just.
We just don't like Smash.
Show me Metroid. Just show me the Metroid. Show me the Metroid, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Depending on how Bandai Namco does on it. That's a big X factor there that I'm a little nervous about, but we'll see. Just show me the game. So anyway, yeah, that was a fun little direct there.
Yeah.
Third parties galore. Yeah, they're jumping on. They're porting everything over, and why wouldn't they? It's the Switch is a huge success. People really love the concept. They love the execution. It's selling like hotcakes. And if they can port over existing, IP on the cheap,
yeah,
people really like even if they're old games, people are buying them on the Switch because they like the idea of having them in a portable format that they can just pick up and go with, and then dock it when they want and pick up and play anytime they want.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, the Wii U was essentially a failure.
Yeah,
but it was basically a failure with a lot of great games that not a lot of people got to play, and they're kind of like, okay, we still got these games.
Yeah,
they're still really good.
Well, that's Nintendo's games. I'm talking about third parties that are porting over Xbox 360 and PS3 and PS4 games and stuff like that. That's getting ported over to what degree they can. That's great. I don't care if they're old games. To have them, like I said, to have them in that format on a central device that is versatile and I can play anywhere, anytime I want. And I'm telling you, people, don't sleep on the Switch's sleep mode. The sleep mode factor on the Switch is brilliant. I can drop in and out of any game I want at any time.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a save point without a save point. Like, that's incredible in a way. Your game is always there. It's just always right there at the push of a button. You're back in. It's kind of magical.
And I was very impressed, which kind of gave birth to another post I had earlier today. How many Neo Geo games are on the Switch?
On the eShop? Quite a few, aren't there?
Because I downloaded Garou Mark of the Wolf, which was a fighting game that came out in Japan, but I don't think ever came out here. It was $8, so I plopped down the $8. Yeah, it's almost unplayable with the Switch controllers, but I mean, it's still...
You need a Pro, sir, but...
I don't want to drop $70 on another.
You can get them on sale for less than that, but I feel you. I understand.
But like tons of great Neo Geo games. No Windjammers yet. Really need to come out with Windjammers, because portable Windjammers might be problematic for my life and responsibilities.
You could play Windjammers on the beach.
Oh.
Well, people actually play Frisbee.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that. I don't like the beach.
Inception.
So yeah,
cool stuff.
Good times.
E3 is just around the corner, so more to come.
This E3 kind of has the potential to be really interesting, and that's something you haven't really been able to say about E3 in recent years, because most of the big three companies are going off doing their own press conferences and announcing stuff, because Nintendo has Direct and PlayStation has PlayStation Experience. Microsoft's really the only one that still sticks to E3.
E3's still E3, though. It's still a...
Yeah, you still get some stuff at it, but not like...
Nintendo does save their biggest directs for E3. They do put on the big show. The big directs come out at E3.
Yeah,
they don't do the stage show anymore, but they deliver their big direct on E3.
All right, so moving on from the world of video games to the world of cinema. Kind of going dumpster fire-ish, but not full-blown. Because we're going to be talking first about the one franchise in DC Cinematic Universe that has been successful and is actually good. I rewatched, I kind of piecemealed rewatched Wonder Woman this past week, and still a really great movie. Yes, it kind of stumbles in the third act.
Yeah, it does.
Still really great movie. They have cast Cheetah.
They have.
For Wonder Woman 2, and it is going to be Kristen Wiig. And Drew, I'm okay with this. I don't... Again, this is like, how invested are you in the character? Like, if this was casting, Kristen Wiig as Flash Thompson, Spider-Man Homecoming, obviously I'd have problems with it. but
the role she was born to play.
exactly. But yeah, my only concern is like, is there going to be, because Cheetah doesn't strike me as a villain that can carry.
They're going to have to dress her up a bit.
Solo.
They'll toughen her up, but they'll make her some kind of somehow, some way. They'll buff her a little bit.
Yeah.
The casting is I don't care that much, but I did find it a little curious that she's notably a comedic actress.
She has done dramatic stuff though.
Okay.
Like small indie things.
Okay.
And I've heard nothing but good things about her dramatic stuff.
Then she's going to get to flex a little more muscle this time around with Cheetah, unless they're going for a more comedic tone. I don't know. I mean,
Drew, we laugh at all DC movies, but not for the reasons they want us to.
I don't think they would do that. I think
I don't think so
I think they have enough sense to know, hey, let's just what worked about the first one, do that again.
Yeah.
So, yay. It's, she's a name, and that's a villain that's long associated with Wonder Woman, so it makes all the sense in the world that they would do that. So,
yep.
I'm fine with it.
All right, and then the other story we had in DC Universe is we got our first unofficial look at Shazam through some set photos that leaked out.
Yeah.
I think he looks great. He looks off the page. I like the color palette of the costume. I hope that they don't DC satirize it.
I don't think that's going to be... I don't think you got to worry about that.
I think Zachary Levi looks great as a character. He's got the hair. He's got... So far...
He's got a very padded suit on.
Yeah, well, yeah. so far, I am very encouraged.
I'm a little more reserved.
I know you're not a fan of the redesign of the costume.
You
like the classic. You like the original. And I'm with you on that. I prefer the original to redesign.
I want the Alex Ross Captain Marvel. That's
as far
what I
as
want.
As far as redesigns go, it's not the worst.
No, it has all the elements. They didn't butcher it by any stretch.
Yeah, they didn't change it. They just tweaked.
Yeah, that Alex Ross Shazam is just... Yeah. I want that.
I know.
Very badly. But then again, I want an Alex Ross movie. I want his Justice League on the screen.
Yeah.
That would make me happy. But in any case, that's not going to happen. Yeah, no, it's cool. We'll see what it looks like.
Yeah.
In motion with effects and stuff. It's fine. It's fine. I just, I know. I like the coat look as opposed to the costume look.
I get you.
Okay. You know why? It kind of reminds me of the Star Trek uniforms from
we mentioned that.
Yeah, I like that.
The clad from the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, the side vest look.
Yeah,
I like that.
Okay, so we're going to be going back to DC in a little bit.
We have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big major announcement for fans of Galaxy Far, Far Away this week.
Oh.
Jon Favreau has been tapped to write and produce a Star Wars live-action series, most likely for the Disney streaming service that will be launching next year. Thoughts?
I mean, Favreau did give us the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it.
Yep.
He directed the first 2 Iron Man movies. He was instrumental in getting the whole thing off the ground. So we know he's capable.
I feel he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Because everyone says Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige wasn't around at this point.
No, but...
He's not in the capacity that he's in now. I think it was still Avi Arad back then, wasn't it?
No, Feige's been there from the beginning. But I think the reason why Feige gets the credit more is because he's the only one still there. Favreau left, and then...
Well, he didn't leave. He just got different projects. He did Jungle Book for them. He's doing, Lion King for them.
But he left Marvel. He had the keys to the kingdom, then he kind of said, I gotta go. Then they brought in Whedon, and then Whedon ran roughshod for 2 flicks, and then he's like, I gotta go. Because... whatever.
I still feel like as far as the birth and the big bang of the Marvel Cinematic
Favreau.
Universe, it's between Favreau and Robert Downey Jr.
Sure.
I think without either one,
then Iron Man doesn't work and nothing takes off. Yeah, totally, absolutely. So in Star Wars, though, we'll see. I guess every time I hear about this Star Wars live action thing, TV show. I've heard about that for
It's
20 years now, and it's never happened.
It's the one thing that the Star Wars franchise has never been able to get off the ground.
A live-action
A
show.
live-action series.
So, look, they got a streaming service coming. It makes all the sense in the world that they would want a show for it.
Yeah.
So maybe this one will happen, and it probably will. But in the meantime, I'm sitting here just kind of like, yeah, I've heard about this for a while now.
Yeah,
show me what you got.
ingredients are good.
Yeah,
Now go bake a cake.
yeah, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll be great. Again, we come to the base where you and I kind of diverge on our Star Wars likes.
I feel that they're
world. You like 3 movies, and I don't say that
6
in
movies
a
now, but yes,
in a facetious way either. That's just where that's the play box you prefer to stay in.
I prefer them as a coming of age series of films, and not so much as a world where that coming of age story happens.
Yeah. See, I like the world. I just want to run around playing everything.
Yeah. I like the characters.
I like the characters too. There's a lot more of them out there. They're just as good and fun to discover.
And they all know each other because Star Wars.
No, not always.
It's a little different now.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure this is going to be great. Disney is yet to go wrong with Star Wars.
I agree with you, but I'm sure a lot of people don't. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
They're entitled to their wrong opinion. Okay, so jumping back to DC. DC Comics now announced earlier this week the new imprint, the DC Black Label, in which they are telling non-canonical stories of, obviously, the Trinity. You know, Superman, Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman per se, but Batman. What's creating the buzz on this is the creative teams.
Yeah.
Because it's AAA lineup, All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
All-Star, and we're going to get back to that.
Uh-huh.
We've got John Romita Jr. and Frank Miller on Superman, which is going to be a Superman Year One story.
Sense a great disturbance in the force.
There is 2 different Batman books.
Mm-hmm.
One with Phil Jimenez.
No. One with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
Yeah,
and then
that's
one with Liber Mayho and Brian Azzarello.
Yes. The Liber Mayho and Brian Azzarello one, I'm very excited for because they did the Joker standalone one-shot, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And the Batman, like the Christmas Carol.
I remember the artwork.
Very good.
Yeah.
Both very good, written and drawn. Snyder and Capullo on Batman again. I'm willing to give it a shot. Last Snyder Batman thing I read was not left me. It started
Zero Year
out
wore
great.
me out. So
I started with what they did, the reboot of All Star Batman. When it started out great, it started out like Midnight Run with Batman and Two-Face, and then just took that. Snyder,
you mean
with John Romita Jr. doing the
what was that called?
It was called All Star Batman.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, it was something else. I know the one you mean. I know the one you mean. It wasn't called All Star though. It had a different. I forgot the title. I know the one you mean though. The Two-Face and they're on the run and that was it was.
Yeah, look it up on your phone. You don't believe me?
It was All Star.
Yeah, it was All Star Batman. Because I was like, why would you bring this back? Why would you put the Stain title on?
They called it All Star?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. So while you're looking that up,
I'm looking this up.
The third.
It was called Rebirth.
No, it wasn't. Rebirth is what they're doing now.
Oh, you're right. It was All Star Batman. Wow, were they insane?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a bad call there, DC. Anyway,
all right. Then the third,
Sorry.
the fourth book is Wonder Woman per se, but it's telling Hippolyta's story.
Yeah.
So Okay, that's the one.
It's Greg
with,
Rucka and Phil Jimenez, right? Yeah, that's a good team, man.
I'm
a Rucka guy, so
So yeah, we've got 2 books where we're all yay gun ho on teams. One book where we're like, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
4th book though, on paper, is like you've got my all-time favorite Spider-Man artist, John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
And my all-time favorite writer, Frank Miller.
Yeah, no.
Now,
no.
Frank, still, you know what? He is my all-time favorite writer. His recent work...
I'd rethink that.
Listen, man, if Metallica went off the deep end and just produced crap, they'd still be...
Somewhere out there, someone's saying they did. Oh.
They'd still be your favorite band.
Yeah, but, I've got a lot of other bands that I was on board with for a long time, and I would have considered among on the Mount Rushmore, as it were, that once they fell off, my interest tanked on them.
When Miller is on point,
which he hasn't been in 25 years.
Dark Knight 3 wasn't horrible.
Yeah, but he probably wrote it on a cocktail napkin and gave it to who did the rest of it.
Kubrick.
He did the art. No, he had a co-writer on that. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up. My point is, I don't know, man. Like,
I'm never gonna not show up for a Frank Miller book.
That's the problem. I just
actually no, that's not true because there was one book I didn't show, the Holy Terror. I saw that, I was like, nope.
Brian Azzarello co-wrote it.
Okay.
In other words, Miller gave him his wild idea, and Azzarello made it something readable.
We don't know that for certain.
Based on his, I just
listen. I'm not saying that everything he's done has been good. He has been not good for a good long time. Ever since Dark Knight Strikes Again, he's been
off the deep end.
Dark Knight Strikes Again was terrible. All-Star Batman and Robin was a caricature of his Batman work up to that point.
Disaster.
Holy Terror, he wrote
disaster.
He wrote as a Batman story, and DC didn't even want it. Dark Knight 3,
debatable.
It wasn't horrible. It's like trend up, but I mean, I'm interested to see, is this going to be the Superman that he depicted in Dark Knight Returns? And how he handles year one story of that character.
I don't trust Frank Miller to give me a good Superman. I don't trust him to have the heart for it.
A lot of me agrees with that because, like,
is he going to get into Lois Lane's previous career as a prostitute before she turns into a reporter? Because that sounds right up his alley.
Not saying that's not a possibility.
I see. So, I can't. I don't know.
The man's
man.
not perfect. Okay.
No,
but
he's not.
You know, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Sin City, 300.
That's all fine work.
Ronin, Ronin's a little dry, but still good.
All right. Well, we'll see how this goes.
I'll be.
I'm. This is all fine. Okay. By the way, like I'm okay with all this, but it's like. Maybe not the Miller stuff, but this whole Black Label line. Number one, I'm rolling my eyes into my skull over the title of that imprint, Black Label. Here's why.
Does it make you want Johnny Walker?
No, it makes me want to punch Greg Capullo in the face because he's a Black Label Society fanboy, and I hate Black Label Society. I hate them so badly. Zakk Wylde is a total douche, and I hate him. Is he a good guitar player? Yeah, once upon a time when he wasn't just doing pinch harmonics, like spamming them like a noob spams a fireball in Street Fighter, okay? I hate Black Label Society, and I know he's a fanboy of them, and he loves them to death, so more power to you, Greg. You're a great artist, but my God, this is going... It's first we had Batman Metal, get it? Metal,
yeah.
And that was all him and Snyder. Now we get Black Label. God. Oh. Subtle, Greg. Subtle. Anyway, this whole thing is the All-Star line. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's what they wanted the All-Star line to be.
Yep.
Before Frank Miller tanked it. Morrison did his job. He wrote a Superman book for the ages.
Yeah, folks, seriously, if you've never read All-Star Superman, go out, get the trade, read it. It is one of the best Superman stories ever written.
I didn't care about Superman at all until I read that. I love him now because of that book. I love Superman because of All-Star Superman. It's great. But then Frank Miller had to tank the whole line with a Batman book so bad that it became a parrot. It became a punchline.
Yep.
Literally. Oh,
the
man.
GD Batman.
Yes. Oh. The Joker with the weird dragon tattoo on his back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, you heard on paper Frank Miller and Jim Lee doing the same book.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we were so wrong.
You know what? If memory serves, though, I wasn't as instantly on board with that as a lot of other people were.
That's funny to me, actually.
Because Jim Lee, all-time great.
Yeah.
Still to this day, fantastic work. Frank Miller, my all-time favorite writer. Just because two things are good doesn't mean they're necessarily good together.
Jim Lee put the work in on that book.
Yeah, he did. The book is visually incredible.
However.
Yeah. It's all the things that happen in the white bubbles that kind of derail
Frank
it.
Miller, on the other hand.
Yeah, it was...
All right, I digress. This is just the All-Star line, reborn, as Black Label. Fine. I'm
okay with as long as they're saying it's not continuity.
Right, which...
DC has always done great one-off Elseworld stories, things like that.
Yeah, Marvel is not less so.
Yeah, they've kind of done that in recent years with the Earth 2 stories,
yeah,
which have all been fantastic. There's a Green Lantern one coming out that I cannot wait for. The only one I didn't read was the Teen Titans one, but the Superman ones, like the first volume of Super Earth 2 Superman is what Man of Steel should have been. They should have just taken that and made that into a movie because it was fantastic. The Batman ones are really good. The Wonder Woman one was good. So yeah, they got that. They've got Vertigo. They've got Young Animal. This is what DC does. They have these little imprints where they can kind of do these little experimentation type things where then they have their main line, which is kind of
doing
the standards.
I guess what I'm wondering is why is it that DC seems to be able to pull this stuff off and Marvel just can't? Why?
Maybe DC just wants to pay for the talent. Because
Well,
Marvel's done this.
Marvel's
done this before. It was called Marvel Knights.
Let's talk.
And it was freaking fantastic.
It was. And then we had the Ultimate line, which for a time was good. A brief time, but whatever. The Max line gave us Max Punisher, which is my Punisher. So there is that.
Yeah.
But overall, DC seems more committed to this kind of storytelling, and its fans seem more into it, whereas Marvel fans seem very less willing to go down those kind of Elseworldsy roads and alternate takes of characters, and it just doesn't seem to work as well at Marvel. And I just wonder, historically speaking, I just wonder why that is. Why is it that it just doesn't work? I
honestly don't know. Because I
don't have an answer. I'm asking rhetorically. I don't know.
No. Because like when you look about a lot of times, you also have to look back and some things that we consider one-shot stories did happen within continuity. You know, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One. Those were not Dark Knight Returns, but Year One was in the Batman run of comics. It was just like a 4-issue thing. You know what? I don't know. I don't have an answer, but it's something DC has just always done better than Marvel. So when they come out and saying, you know, we want to tell these stories, but it's kind of like their way of telling good stories while preserving their current continuity. For better or worse, whatever their current continuity is, which right now is good, very good. It's just something they've always done. And, you know, I wish Marvel would do more things like this. Do just like a one-shot, bring together a killer team on like a Spider-Man story or a Cap story or something like that. Do like a one-shot Prestige edition story.
Well, that's
that stuff.
That's getting tough, Carl, because it seems like everyone's leaving Marvel.
gotta pay the talent, man. What do you
It kind
want?
of seems like everyone's bailing.
It seems like DC is not only paying for the talent, but giving them some creative freedom within, and that's kind of what these imprints offer is creative freedom.
Yeah.
Because it's not in continuity. Certain things are become like kind of transcend their initial print, like Killing Joke. Killing Joke was originally like a one-shot story, but was so profound it was adopted into continuity. Barbara Gordon was paralyzed.
Right.
The events happened. So just take some chances, Marvel.
It just feels like they when they do, their fans hate it, so they tend not to anymore. I don't know. It's weird.
I think you have to take a chance at the same time. Chance has to be good. I mean, like if you want good, you have to pay for good to get the money for good.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, well, that's Black Label.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be interesting. There's not the Lee Bermejo series and the Superman series I'll probably buy off the rack. The other two I'll probably wait for trades just because I've tried to limit because comics are expensive.
They are.
So some weeks are bigger than others, but I try to like really cut back. Try to limit the spending.
What else do we got, Carl? Anything else?
I think that's pretty much it for news unless you can think of anything else.
Well,
what you got?
Are you reading Marvel 2-in-1?
I'm not, but I think I know where you're going. But proceed.
Well,
I haven't looked at the picture.
I'm pulling
I saw
it up.
the story.
I'm pulling it up right now, and I'm going to try and open it up. Open in browser. Let's see. They said spoilers. I'm waiting for it. Where are they? Well, this is weird. Where's the picture? They don't have a picture. They lied.
Well, while Drew continues to search, what he's referring to is it was announced earlier today in the Marvel 2-in-1 that Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm would be receiving new Fantastic Four costumes. Now, this is...
okay, well, yeah, there they are then. I guess that is them. I wouldn't call that they're jackets. They have jackets, Carl. And they're not in the traditional colors.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that Reed and Sue are not wearing those wherever they happen to be in the multiverse. So what's the point here?
Yeah. They're not great. I mean, I've seen worse.
For a little one-shot issue, it's fine.
Yeah. Almost looks like a flight suit.
If anything, I'm going to yell at CBR for making this a headline and passing this off as news. Marvel debuts new Fantastic Four costume. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Like
CBR is garbage now, man. Folks, CBR is terrible, by the way. They've turned into such clickbait nonsense now.
The Fantastic Four costumes over the years have gone through many revamps, but the core of the costume has always kind of remained. Blue with the four.
Yeah.
The accents have oscillated between white and a darker navy blue, which I prefer the darker navy blue to the white.
I like them both. They both have charm.
they both have their place, but if I have an option for preference, I'm just going with the darker navy blue. But those are kind of like white sports. It's like something you'd expect to find in a Marvel fan store for a Fantastic Four jacket.
Yeah, at best.
Which, if that was the case, it would be a cool design for a Fantastic Four jacket, not so much for a Fantastic Four costume. I mean, it's no sexy Sue Storm costume, but...
Well, we don't talk about that. That was a weird time for the Fantastic Four.
But to be fair, it also was not really Sue Storm.
Yeah.
It was a Skrull.
Well...
Sexy Skrull.
That makes more sense. Well, I don't have anything else. Are you Infinity War? Do we get new footage or what's going on?
I don't know. Alan told us we were getting a new trailer. That was like 3 nights ago.
Hasn't happened yet, huh? Okay, fair enough.
I'm not seeing a new trailer.
I heard a rumor that tickets go on sale Friday.
Okay,
That's the rumor.
I'll
so let's
keep,
we got to keep an eye on that because we got to be there.
Yep.
All right. That's it. I think. I hope
that wraps up the case files. Now on to and our papers have been rustled, and here we are to talk about Punisher episode 10, Virtue of the Vicious.
I don't have a lot of notes on this episode.
I really stretched for notes on this episode. Actually, before we get in this, in RP's news, Jessica Jones season 2 debuted this week.
It did. I've not watched it yet.
I haven't started yet either because I was waiting for Julie to decide whether or not she wanted to watch it. So I think I'm just going to
put it this way. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about it, so I haven't started yet.
Yeah, so. No, that's fine. I'm hearing some bad reviews.
I heard it starts slow.
Well, Marvel.
well, Marvel.
Marvel Netflix. But I've heard more good reviews than bad reviews, but the number of bad reviews are kind of noticeable. So,
well, we'll see. Some people are never happy, Carl. We know that.
This is true.
It's like The Last Jedi.
Fan's gonna fan.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Alrighty. So, this episode is weird. It's getting harder and harder to talk about this show.
A little bit.
Because I'm not enjoying it as much
on rewatch
the second time around.
I just feel like they could make better use of their time is all.
Yeah.
And in this episode, basically we get the Lewis attack on the Senator.
Yep.
And we see it two different ways. So we're, automatically we're kind of like filling time.
The structure of how this episode is presented is really cool.
Yeah, it does the whole after the effects. Yeah, we cut back and but I don't have a whole lot of introspection on this episode. We get the attack, the Senator, the anti-gun Senator. He makes some good points, but he's also being presented as kind of slimy, spineless.
Yeah. So once again, it's kind of like the show not really picking a side.
Right. It's mixed messages. We had a lot of that
the last episode. Although we do have a welcome return in this episode.
Turk?
Mahoney.
Oh, Mahoney. Okay.
Turk's not in this episode.
No, he's not.
Yeah, that was another news thing. It came out earlier in the week.
Turk has an Infinity Stone. In the comic books. You go, Turk. You go.
Is it fair to say that the whole Infinity Stones thing, Infinity is Marvel's Crisis now?
Oh, yeah. But you can thank the movies for that, though, to be honest with you.
No, I get it.
They were kind of in the background for a long time, and then the movie started coming out, and it was well, put the Infinity Stones in there. Well, okay, we will.
Yeah.
All the time. Forever.
Yeah. Turk has one now. He's got the Mind Stone.
Turk has one now.
Yeah. Marvel's a dumpster fire. So, Mahoney's back, and Mahoney's investigating the scene.
Yeah. Fine. He interviews the Senator. He tells one story about how the events transpired in which Frank and Lewis tagged up together to attack, and that he was a sort of brave hero in said story.
Yep.
Then we have Karen's version, where obviously Lewis attacked on his own. Frank came in, saved Karen, took some shots, saved Karen, saved the Senator. The Senator spinelessly throws Karen into Lewis to save himself.
Yep.
Noticed that the second time around watching the show. What a jerk. Again, the show has a lot of mixed messages on how it wants to perceive these people, but whatever. Frank takes a lot of shots in this episode. All I can say about that is he's lucky that no one aimed at his legs at any point.
Yeah, I think there's with that there's a certain level of training reflex that you always try to go center mass and try to put down.
No, you're right. But as soon as I realize he's got a vest, all right, take out his legs. Shoot the glass.
Go for his legs. It might be our only chance of stopping them.
Right. Exactly. You need some lateral thinking at a certain point.
The glass.
Hans. Man, I wish Rickman were still alive, man.
Hans. Booby.
Man,
Yeah, no,
Rickman would be a great Marvel villain.
But which one?
I don't know, but
Oh.
someone. I don't care which one, but someone. You know-
Mephisto?
Oh,
Talk about flip from Metatron. Oh, man.
I'm
Who-
struggling, but
Yeah, who would Rick
someone.
Remender be?
You find a role for him, okay?
Yeah, folks,
alas.
that's our question to you. Send us in your responses.
Who could Rickman have played?
If Alan Rickman was still among us, what Marvel villain would you have him play?
Alan Rickman, so good. Anyway, yeah. So I just have mostly observations from this episode. It's a lot of plot. I have to imagine
Very-
that a private security company.
They're not very good.
They're not very good. Number one. Number two. These kind of enterprises, I would think anyway, would want to stay under the radar and not wear hats and jackets with their logo and name on them blatantly, like you know.
Maybe I know like some private security is like kind of they want it to be visible that they are security and that they are a presence there, so you can make that argument for it. But no, I get what you're saying though. They're not too quick on the uptake. And the papers are getting real aggressive about getting their subscriptions.
Yeah.
This episode was harder for me to watch this time around.
Now, why is that?
Because it's an arc, especially with Lewis, and I've alluded to this in the past when we've been discussing this character, but it kind of comes to a head in this episode because I kind of like, not for nothing, I found myself tearing up a bit when it was coming to the end for him because I see Lewis and it's an arc case of if not but for the grace of God goes my father. Because my father, like I learned about this a lot after he passed. I had no idea this when he was still alive. He struggled a lot with PTSD after coming back from Vietnam. And he had been involved in a couple, like he was in artillery, so he wasn't like infantry. He wasn't in constant action, but the couple things he was involved in were pretty intense. And just to think of like what it's got to take to overcome that.
Sure.
And just this episode gave me a moment that is always welcome to be grateful for the kind of man my father was. To be able to work through, at least to some extent, to an extent that enabled him to be a good father to me. A lot of what he was dealing with. Because my mother told me, like, after he passed, like, I would wake up in the night screaming and had full-blown PTSD. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, Lewis is pretty broken in this episode. A lot. This is the final confrontation, really.
Yeah.
And he's got the bomb, and Frank and Karen, very cleverly, mind you, disarm the bomb.
Cleverly, yes. Subtle, not really Frank's forte, as he's blatantly moving his head up and down and left to right.
He was kind of, if you watch though, he's doing it along with what he's saying. Which, if you're Lewis and you're nervous and you're scared and you don't know what's
you're
going,
not noticing minor details like that,
right? And Karen figures out which wire to pull out of the detonator, and Lewis escapes into the fridge where he puts the bomb back together and dies a soldier's death, as he says, as he blows himself up.
Yeah.
Well, c'est la vie, Lewis.
And I think there's something to be said about Frank in the moment in which he got into the fridge and Frank sees him fixing the bomb.
Frank wants him to do it. He tells him to.
Frank wants him to do it, but he's also staying with him as long as he can.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
I think they're still, even though they're like, we have the Punisher here who's going to do what the Punisher does, but also there's the soldier there and understanding the brotherhood of soldiers.
Yeah, but he's going to blow himself up, Frank. Get away from the door.
Yeah, I mean, he, like I said, stays to the last possible moment.
Yeah.
And then we kind of come up on a moment that could have derailed the entire series.
Oh, yeah. I have it in my notes. So Karen and Frank are running before the cops show up and take Frank away or whatever. And
the cops show up,
yeah,
and Karen poses as Frank's hostage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Frank's gonna make a break for it. They're in the elevator, and he's gonna go through the elevator shaft and all that business. But before he does, they have that moment, and I swear to God, I wrote it down. If they kiss here, I'm done.
You just killed the series.
I would have dropped the show
that
instant if that would have happened. It didn't.
Yep.
They teased it though.
They did tease it,
and I said this before about the last episode when he finds out that Karen's in danger and all that, and Frank flies off the handle, and it's like, man, it's not.
He becomes like Rocky in Rocky 3 when Mickey's dying.
Kinda.
Save Karen. Michael, save Karen.
Wow.
Michael, save Karen. Michael, where Karen? Michael.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. And then, after all of that, they're in the elevator, and like, oh boy, I was dreading it. I was watching this episode, like, this is the second time, but the first time I was just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's like you're disciplining one of your dogs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Bad.
I'm gonna rub his nose in it. No, don't do that to him. They don't, though. And then he's just kind of like, see ya. And he leaves. Like, oh, well, that got diffused quickly, didn't it? And if I'm not mistaken, does she show up again for the rest of the series? There's only 3 episodes left. I don't think she does. Like, this is it.
I think it's a very brief prologue-y thing that she shows up in, maybe narrating a story she's writing or something.
All right, well.
Frank does leave the building in an extremely cool, very comic booky way, though.
He does.
Zip line!
He's got a zip. One arm, by the way.
Well, the other arm's got a bullet in it.
It does. Pretty cool. We get the little standoff between Madani and Billy and Frank.
Billy's true colors.
They're starting to show. Do you think?
Well, no, like Madani figures it out.
She kind of figured it out when she saw that all the Anvil guys were the guys that killed her agents and were involved in that operation. And he not props to Billy, but Billy's a good liar. He's denying to the end here. She
suspects, but she's not ready to accuse yet.
Well, once he points the gun at her,
well, all bets are off at that point. He kind of figures the coffee bar is closed.
Right.
We might as well tie up the loose end.
Yeah. So we definitely get a feeling that everything is building to a head here.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet because we still have some things to work through because now Frank also knows that Micro met Madani, which is why she was there to begin with. And she tells Frank we're after the same people, yada yada. Now Frank knows that Micro saw her against his wishes. So we got to tie that up. We've got, Billy and Rollins to kind of tie up. But we are getting to the big bad moment.
But yeah, this was like the ending of a 3-episode mini arc within the season. Kind of makes me wish Marvel did this a little more with their series. If they're going to commit to the 13-episode format, which I think we can universally agree they could trim down.
They could 8 to 10.
Yeah. I would say if you're going to stick to 13, do 2 6-episode arcs in one season.
Hang on.
Do like 2 completely different stories in one season, and maybe like some prologue setup episode for the finale.
In fairness, we say that.
Yeah.
Luke Cage kind of did that, and we didn't like it.
Well, it was definitely a tone shift for the series. But it's still continuing the same story that they were telling. Just tone shift and
villain shift.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, try if you want to do that, I'm okay with you still doing 13 episodes. But this is getting hard to watch a second time around.
You know what it is? This just kind of came to me now. You know what it is? It's the serialization of television, which by and large is a good thing because I like shows that treat me with some level of respect and expect me to know that these things continue and there's consequences. But at the same time, there's still room for just self-contained episode.
Yep.
Just tell me a little story that reveals a little something about this character, but it doesn't necessarily tie into this big arc or narrative. Just
they treat these like 13-hour-long movies.
Right. Maybe less so.
It worked for Daredevil in both seasons.
Yeah. More so in one, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely more so in one. Jessica Jones, yes.
They could have trimmed some fat there, though.
There's, but not as much as like Luke Cage Defenders and certainly Iron Fist and Punisher.
Jessica Jones felt a little long on the tooth.
I think Kilgrave really helped carry Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Through the
doldrums,
the slogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marvel, just treat it like an arc in a comic book.
You know what I kind of
6 episodes.
You know what I kind of
and another 6 episodes.
I wish it was more like Star Trek: The Next Generation. just throw me some self-contained episodes where little character beats are introduced, and then every once in a while you get a 2-3-parter that to do something big.
Okay, yeah, I could say either one of those I'd be good with. 2 6-episode arcs or what you said there.
I think the self-contained episode has become like a lost art.
Yeah,
in the serialization of television that we now live in.
I mean, it's still pretty predominant on network television because Julie and I watch.
Right.
Actually, you know what? Really good example of this. I know you're not fans of them. I know Jen is, but I know you're not, and that's fine. Julie and I watch the Chicago shows.
Yeah.
The Chicago PD and all those. It's for lack of a better term, a cinematic universe. It all exists within the same world. But it's those little self-contained episodes with carrying over arcs. It's not all one big story throughout the season.
No,
so that's an example of something that does it really well.
Then maybe Marvel needs to kind of embrace that a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got it. This was the 10th episode. We got 3 episodes left. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting kind of tough.
We'll be all right. It starts going out with some fireworks. So we'll.
Yeah.
The punishment is coming.
Oh yeah, the punishment.
So
was he more punished in this or in that one scene in Daredevil season 2?
Ooh,
they did take a drill to his knee.
They did. He gets pretty tore up in this. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right.
So that about does it for this week's episode, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. We very much appreciate it. If you would like to communicate with us, send us any questions, tweet at us, you can do so at the following locations. You can go to Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, any closing thoughts?
Serial cinematic universe.
All right, really quickly, what characters are we including in this?
All of them. Listeners, we want your ideas. We're going to make this happen.
Now, are we going to select certain characters for the films and then some other lesser characters for like the Netflix series?
There will be no Netflix series. We're going to do this full on MCU style.
All right. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
All righty.
We're soliciting ideas. Let's do this. I love it.
Any ideas solicited immediately become property of the Devils Do Podcast. All rights reserved. Copyright.
I already want to do this.
Carl and Drew.
General Mills is going to sue us.
Folks, thanks for joining us. Of course, adjourned.